Hello there, live at lunch. I can tell the internet's a little funky. I hope we stay okay. If not, I'll come back and do it again or I'll record it for you. But anyway, live at lunch. This is not just about sitting and having a cup of coffee together. This is about really learning something that can make a difference for you or in some way, shape, or form. So I have a slideshow put together for you. So here we go. Let's dive right in. What I wanted to talk about today was about stress, your heart, your cardiovascular system. Okay. So hopefully you can see this. And if you are watching, please say hello. Let me know where you're watching from or if you watch the replay. But we're going to dive right in. This is some heart math research that's been done. I'm going to go through this. I have a few slides for you, but we're talking about the role of your heart and how your heart and your brain communicate, how that affects your nervous system and stress, and then what's the outcome on the rest of your body, right? So really understanding that the heart is not just this mechanical pump that just pumps blood. The heart has a much, much bigger job and role in our body. In fact, its job is to really give the brain information. So when the heartbeats change, and that would happen based on how you're feeling and the stress in your life. So right down here, when the heartbeat changes, those heart rhythm patterns affect all the information that's being processed by your brain. So in fact, I don't know about you, but I always used to think the brain was the master computer, right? The brain does everything. But actually, the brain takes the orders from the heart. So there's a strong heart-brain connection. The heart actually sends a lot more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. So the heart is always, that's your core center. That's your creative center. That's your soul. That's your spirit. That's the seat of your feelings. All of that tells the brain, this is where we're at. This is what we need to do, and sends signals. Okay. HRV training is heart rate variability. So this is work that I do. I'm a heart math practitioner. So heart rate variability is the ability of your heart to go up and respond to stress, whether you're going for a run or you're going to present a meeting in front of 100 people, whatever it is, the heart rate goes up and beats really fast. And then its ability to drop back down and get back to a resting state. That's variability, your heart rate variability. And what the science has shown is that the better able you are to go up and then recover and go up and recover, the better your health. And so when you practice that and practice teaching your system how to do that, which we're going to talk about, these are the benefits that we see. So from a medical perspective, we see improved blood pressure, decrease in cardiovascular disease. We see improvement in weight, pain, anything, really anything to do with digestion. Inflammatory bowel disease is really an umbrella term for just digestive disorders, especially when they don't really know what causes it. But that's IBD. Autoimmune disorders, if you've had brain injury, cancer, asthma, and insomnia. So from a medical point of view in your physical body, when you learn how to regulate your heart and how to improve your heart rate variability, all of these issues improve. From a mental, emotional standpoint, all of these issues improve. Depression, anxiety, if you have PTSD or you have OCD, if you have issues with anger, bipolar, grief and loss, and Tourette's, I skipped, grief and loss, if you've had loss in your life, if you struggle from ADHD, or if you have drug and alcohol issues, if you have any sort of, issues like that, addictive issues. So all of these people, when they do the research, and Heart Math is a research facility that I'm trained through, they've been doing this for the past 60 years, really looking at very specifically and collecting the data. So the data shows all of these issues will improve with heart rate variability. So these slides are taken actually from one of the classes that I took. So heart rate variability, as I just explained, the ability of the heart to go up and recover. When you are experiencing frustration, irritation, anxiety, worry, any of the things that would come under stress, this is what your heart rate pattern looks like. It's very incoherent, right? Incoherent, chaotic, no real pattern to it. It's all over the place, which then is giving the brain really incoherent messages. If you're just hopping on, you missed the beginning, but I talked about how we now realize that the heart gives the brain much more information than the brain gives the heart. The heart is the information center of your physical body and your spiritual body, really. But the heart is always giving the brain information. And so when the heart is chaotic and incoherent due to stress, due to upset, due to these kinds of emotions, then the information that the brain is receiving is incoherent. And then the brain is trying to send out to the rest of the body the messages of what it needs to do. The nervous system is now trying to regulate all the other systems. So performance everywhere is going to be a problem. When you learn heart rate variability and you learn how to self-regulate your heart rate and then therefore your nervous system, this is what happens. And when you are in a coherent pattern, the emotions that you're experiencing are love, appreciation, gratitude, care, compassion, anything like that. So this is what the heart rate would look like. And that all sends a very different message to the brain, which allows the brain to do a very different job with the rest of the body. Okay, I can't see anything. So in terms of comments, so if there are any, when I get out of the slideshow, I'll take a look and answer your questions. Okay, so let's talk about stress. So when you learn, it's called self-regulation. When you learn how to self-regulate your nervous system, then all of the body, physically, mentally, and emotionally, responds and improves. So self-regulation means learning how to get that heart back into coherence and how to have better information. And really understanding right here, it's not the event or the situation that causes stress. It's not. I know it feels like that. Like, you don't know about the stress in my life. You don't know what I'm dealing with. Stress is everywhere. What's the truth is how we respond emotionally to any event. That's where we have power, and that has the impact on our body. So learning these techniques to regulate how you respond gives you that resilience capacity, okay? So self-regulation, what the research is showing, and this is, HeartMath has been doing it for about 60 years, but the data, they collect data over time and they watch how people age and they watch their health over time. So the data has been confirmed for about the past 20 to 30 years. But having emotional self-regulation, the ability to calm yourself down, that's the key to determine how your nervous system is going to respond and do its job. So these are things here that I want to talk to you about. ANS means autonomic nervous system. That's your automatic. Those are the things that happen without you even thinking about it, like your breathing, your digestion, your anything that's happening in your body that you are not controlling yourself. So that's the autonomic nervous system governs that. And it also governs the things that you are in charge of. But we want to look at when you're under stress and when you are relaxed, right? So the autonomic nervous system is focused on, are you in stress or are you relaxed? And what happens is when you start to learn these key ways to self-regulate, you can teach your body how to get out of these, we call them depleting emotions. No emotions are negative. And as human beings, we're going to have all the range of emotions, right? But some emotions are very depleting. When you stay angry, when you stay in grief, when you stay in resentment, it depletes you. It depletes your body's energy field. It depletes your physical resources. So part of what you can learn to do with this self-regulation is how to recharge your own batteries and how to get out of those depleting emotions so you don't stay there. And that helps you build resistance, and it helps give you better heart rate variability. Because when you stay there, your heart stays up, and then all of your health issues are more likely to happen or, have a harder impact. So what do we mean? This slide's a little cut off, but we're talking about having the same repeated thoughts and emotions and attitudes over and over. That's your automatic response. That's your familiar and predictable, right? Like you get to work and your coworkers or your boss show up and you have this automatic response of stress and upset because you have developed certain neural patterns, neural pathways. They get fired over and over and over, and now they are your automatic response. So even if it's unhealthy, it becomes your hardwired way to be in the world, your hardwired way of responding. And just like a thermostat down here, once it's set, it will go to that temperature. So once you're hardwired for anger, once you're hardwired in any of the victim related emotions, victimhood meaning I don't have control over what's happening. I'm at the effect of everything that's happening around me, other people's choices and behaviors, the situation that I find myself in. That's like a victimhood consciousness. And you get hardwired to stay there because your thought patterns and emotions become the go-to thing. Okay, so, that was the last slide. Okay, so what I'm going to stop. How do I do that? Hold on. I'm going to stop screen sharing. Hi, everybody. See, now I can see so much. Okay, I'm going to stop screen sharing. I'm going to stop the slide. If you want me to pull it back up again, I can. Let me just do that. Okay. So that's one of the big places you want to go to work is noticing, because we think that our emotions are out of our control. I can't help it. They did that and it makes me angry. And some of it is the automatic hardwiring that you've developed. Some of it is not having found the skills to self-regulate your body. And some of it is the thought patterns, rewiring how you think and perceive what other people are doing. So, which is not really covered in this slide. That's a separate thing. These slides were really about understanding. Here's the key takeaways, and then I'll let you go for the day. Understanding the heart gives the brain much more information than the brain gives the heart. The heart is the master creator, controller of information, the seat of your emotions, and the seat of, and really where your spirit is, right? So the heart has that much bigger role than just pumping blood. Number two, when the heart is experiencing emotions, particularly the emotions of stress, and it's got a very incoherent pattern, then the information that it's giving the brain is also incoherent, right? It's not consistent. And so the brain is receiving that going, okay, what do we do? Okay, we're in fear. Okay, now how do I have to manage the body? How do I have to divvy up our resources? What do we have to do here? So the brain is trying to carry it out, these chaotic, incoherent messages. The heart and the brain need to work together. And what you want to learn to do is to self-regulate that process and to stop the automatic hardwiring of where you always go to in your thoughts and in your emotions. So, I just saw, hi, Linda, Kat and I are listening, which means that's my friend Jen, because if she says Kat and I know it's Jen. Hi, Jen and Kat. And then anybody else who's on, thank you. If you're, confused about that or you want more information, I will go back and look, even if I'm not seeing your comments now. But learning how to get your heart out of that constant stress response. So one of the, I'm just going to pull it up one more time. one of the slides that I showed you were all of the, let me find it again. That's showing the incoherent versus coherent response. But I want you to just see again, these are all right off the bat, easy to list issues and conditions in the body that will improve when you learn how to get yourself out of that cycle, how to self-regulate your nervous system, and how to change your automatic hardwired ways of thinking so that you're not in the emotions of fear, anger, anxiety, all of that. So all of these things, if you have autoimmune conditions, if you have gut issues, if you can't lose weight, if you're in pain, if you have high blood pressure, cancer, all of that, that's your medical side. And then the emotional side. If you struggle with depression, if you're always in anxiety, if you feel anger that, just flares up, if you have been stuck in grief for anything that's happened to you, all of that, I can't see below because there's a bar here, but drug and alcohol. These all improve, if not disappear, when you get your body out of this state and learn how to self-regulate. So somebody here says, I try to do deep breathing techniques when I catch myself getting triggered. And that is really, really great. Breath work is one part of this to really go into the breath work. Another thing I would say, and I can't see what your name is, or I would use your name, but triggers. So triggers are a common word, right? We all have our triggers. How awesome would it be to actually not have triggers anymore, which is a whole nother level. So it's one thing like, okay, there are my triggers. That person really annoys me. Or when I see politics on the TV, I get triggered. Or when people are mean to animals, I get triggered. Or my mother-in-law, I get triggered, right? But the triggers are really in you. It's not those things out there. So that's where the rewiring of how you think and perceive comes in, because you can actually disappear all your triggers and get to the point where there are no triggers. So you're not constantly trying to go into breath work because all these things trigger you. And I'm not saying that about you at all, Facebook user. I just wanted to put that in. That's a whole nother piece of it. So yeah, so that's Live at Lunch for today. If you have questions, please drop a comment. If you want to have a phone call with me, I always share the link and I can put it in here after we're done. Maybe I can put it here right now. But, if you find stress has become the number one issue really in the country, and all of these stress related diseases have become a huge problem. So here, hopefully that goes. That's a link if you wanted to talk with me, one-on-one. That's a link to book a call on my calendar. And I'm happy, it's a free call. I'm happy to speak with you about where you're at with all of that. Are you noticing these health issues? Are you, living in these places? And do you want to make that go away? Really turn that ship around. All right. So have a wonderful weekend. It's been another amazing day here in New Jersey. So Facebook user, yeah, I want to get to the triggerless level. Very cool. Yeah, don't we all, right? If we could live without being triggered and just live our life, amazing. And it's possible. Okay, so have a great weekend, and I will see you over coffee in the next couple of days in the morning. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I do very early in the morning coffee things. You don't have to be on early. You can watch it later. But I do a little coffee conversation about something that I hope makes a difference. So I'm sure I'll be doing that in the next couple of days. So have a great weekend. And thank you for spending your lunch on Friday with me. All right, take care.